Wow. Okay. He set it up beautifully. I love that song, Feeling Good. It is one of my favorite songs because who doesn't want to feel good, right? The energy of the song, it has this sense for me of just oneness with all life, just in that sweet spot, that groove where all is well. And don't we all want that, right? That peace. You know, as I reflect and see what's going on in our world today, just all the anger and the blaming and the divisiveness, I think there's common ground here. Because I like to go to the common denominator of what's going on. And for all people, I think what we really want, we don't want to argue. We don't really want to fight with each other. It's not the nature of who we are. We want to feel good, right? We want to feel good, whatever that looks like to us. And one of the teachers of the New Thought movement, her name was Emma Curtis Hopkins, and she was called the teacher of teachers because she taught Ernest Holmes, she taught Charles Fillmore, and many others. And she spoke to the point that all beings just want to find their good. That's it. Whether you're a burglar, whether you're a mother, whether you're a student, no matter what, the bottom line is we're all looking for our good. And that's why I chose this song, because I think this is what it's all about, finding our good and what that means to us. And on this Father's Day, I felt it appropriate for me to talk a little bit about my dad. And he made his transition about, 16 years ago. And unfortunately, I didn't really appreciate him when he was on this plane of existence because I had my emotional things with him. And I have since then worked through them, and now I see the value of that man. And my dad, unfortunately, he was brought up in a really scary time and place. He was brought up in Iowa, and he was Jewish. And Iowa in the 1930s, if you were Jewish, was not a good place. And around Easter time, and I'm sorry to bring this into the room, but there's a reason I'm telling you this. During Easter in the 1930s and close to the 40s, the Jewish children were chased after and beat up because they were blamed for the death of Christ. And so my poor father, and he was a little guy, you might imagine, he was a little scrawny guy, and so Easter was not fun for him. But he set the intention that he wanted to get out of Iowa as soon as he could, because he knew there was a better place for him, that there was a better reality, and he was going to create it, because he knew that there was good for him to find, and he was going to find it. And my dad, as soon as he finished college, he joined the Navy, and he was stationed in San Diego. And he did journalism for whatever post he was at. He was a writer, and so that was his job there. And he ended up meeting my mom, and he fell in love with California. This man loved California, Southern California in particular. And I just remember seeing the joy on his face when he would tell me about his life and what he chose to do with his energy. And something he spoke very strongly of to me was to never let anything in my world or any people in my world take me down. He said, never, ever, ever let people take your power from you. He said, look where I came from. People wanted to hurt me, and I didn't let them. I take that with me wherever I go. Whenever I see things happening in the world or uncomfortable situations I'm in, I always remember Dad saying, don't let it take you down, because you know who you are. His name is Baal Shem Tov, and he was the founder of the Hasidic Movement. And there's my quote by him. And he came on the scene in like the mid-1700s, quite a long time ago, and he was actually where Ukraine is now. And as you might imagine, the Jews were not having a good experience in Europe, especially Eastern Europe, in the 1700s. And they were being chased around, they were being massacred, and the Jewish people were very, very depressed and very downtrodden. And here comes this Jewish mystic, Baal Shem Tov. And he says, hey, Jews, wake up. You're not seeing things right. Can you imagine somebody having the nerve to tell these people who are being killed and chased after, hey, Jews, you're not seeing things right? And he brought, and this is mystics. I don't know, how many of you have studied mystics or understand, what they're all about, but we teach in Science of Mind, and there's a wonderful chapter in the Science of Mind textbook that talks about what the mystics knew. And the mystics knew the same thing. If you're Jewish or Christian mystic or a Muslim mystic, it's all the same thing, that that God is everywhere and you are it. That's really what they teach, that Christ consciousness. And Baal Shem Tov was just like that. He taught that there is grace and joy and happiness in everything. And the Hasidic people are amazing. I don't know if any of you have heard about them, but or have seen any or known anybody that is of that tradition. But they really see spiritual meaning in everything. Everything, from how you wake up in the morning to preparing your meal, everything is sacred. And that's what Baal Shem Tov brought to the Jews at that time, and he was a remarkable man. And so my first quote is this: the ability to be joyous by discerning the good and joyous within every experience is considered by Hasidim as a biblical command. Can you imagine that? A biblical command to be happy and joyful, no matter what, as we say here, right? To find that place inside of yourself that can look beyond what we call the relative world, to look beyond what's happening, the circumstances, the situations, all that stuff that, as my dad would say, can take us down if it's really aversive. But Baal Shem Tov says, no, look beyond that. It is the biblical command that you see the good in it all. And this is so in alignment with what we teach. And Baal Shem Tov also said this in my next slide. I love this. It is just so science of mind. The world is full of wonders and miracles, but man takes his little hand and covers his eyes and sees nothing. And I know, isn't that cool? And I know when I was reading these quotes and reading up on Baal Shem Tov, and I was thinking of what he's teaching and what these people were going through, that bridge. What is that bridge to be able to accept that when you're seeing all this in the world? How does one get one's mind around going beyond the world of appearances and seeing that there is this greater reality where there is expansion, where there is unlimited joy and love and peace, where there's ideas that are populating everywhere, just there for us to take? How does one get there? And I think a lot of us are asking ourselves that question in this time. I mean, I hear it with what we've been reading about in the papers, seeing people just really falling apart for a very, very long time, where life is appearing one way, but some mystic comes in and says, take another look through a different perspective. And so my talk title today is this: the universe is your playground. This is an idea for you to dive into, to be able to look at things in the world and in your own life a little bit differently. When we can go beyond this world, this wonderful world, and see, wow, I'm part of something much bigger than what I thought. I am part of a universal life force and energy that is beyond really understanding with my mind, but my heart feels it because I know what it feels like to have unlimited possibilities. I know what it feels like to be able to transcend something that was so trying. I know I can do it because there is this greater healing energy that I am, that you all are, that I can tune into at an instant. When I was a child, I was so lucky, or I must have called it in, I'll put it that way. I was equal to my childhood, some not so fun, some absolutely extraordinary. I lived around the block from a park. I had a playground at my disposal. Just took 2 minutes to get there. And I just loved that playground. When I would come home from school, my mom was so nice, I would come home from school, drop my books, get on my little purple 10-speed with the flower banana seat and it's the little white basket, and I would trudge over to that park, and I would just look at this magnificent playground of a bunch of different things I could choose from. The slide, the swings were my favorite. And then there was this really cool thing that was like, it looked like a monster, and it was these slides that came down, and you could do all these other things with it. And I just got this extraordinary feeling of abundant opportunities for me. And that's what the park meant to me, and that's what the playground means to me. Abundant opportunities for me to let go of having to think and having to do and to have to be disciplined. And I could just be free in my energy and listen to my heart and what wanted to happen and what I wanted to do. And that's why I say the universe is our playground, because we have no idea of what we can do in this life, because the universe is filled with so many possibilities for us to play in our lives. We are not here to be worrying. We are not here to be taken down with the society and the things that are happening. We are here to be the light and to be the energy of spirit and to bring that in to this world rather than the world stuff coming into us and taking us down. And so this week, I am giving you a quote of my own, which is this. Oh, that's not my quote. Never mind. This is a different quote. We'll go here and then I'll give you my quote. So I talked a little bit at the top of my talk about energy, because this is really about how do you manage your energy, right? Do I get into a place where I am affected by everything and I can't breathe anymore and I feel upset? Or am I looking at life, allowing myself to see what I'm going through, and then coming out on the other side and feeling empowered and expanded? It's really about a continuity of managing our energy, our reactions to life, and getting to the other side. I am here to tell you, I'm not here to speak to spiritual bypass. I'm not into that at all. I know life happens. I know things hurt. I know it. And I acknowledge that. And I see that. And when I walk through it, I allow that. I allow every feeling to come up. But what I don't do is sit in it and stay stuck. Because I know I've got to walk every step, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, do my prayer work, meet with somebody who can help me along the way. But I know that that's the way life works. And so it's about being really clear on what I'm going through. And we teach that here about mindfulness and self-discovery. And so I chose this quote by Michael Singer because he speaks to this so beautifully. He says, the most important thing in life is your inner energy. If you're always tired and never enthused, then life really is no fun. But if you're always inspired and filled with energy, then every minute of every day is an exciting experience. And I love this. And this is from the Untethered Soul. And I love this because he really wakes us up to what is going on inside of ourselves and our ability to see what it is and to shift it. And if there's something that's making us feel tired or uninspired, which, yeah, I know this world sometimes, I get there too. Sometimes I just go, oh my God, are you kidding me? And I get stuck in it. But then I remember I've got my inner energy to manage. And if I'm going to get stuck in the negativity of this world, I am of no good because I'm just becoming part of the downward swirl. And I don't want to swirl down the drain. I want to lift up. And so it's up to me. It's up to all of us to see what's going on here and realize there's something bigger that we can do and can be because the universe is our playground. And so we can bring that wisdom and that light and that love through our energy to bring into the world. And then we make a difference. You know, when things happen, I know we're all called in different directions with stuff that happens in our world. Some people are inspired to give some money. Some people are inspired to go do a march. Some people are inspired to pray. To me, whatever moves your energy is good. It's good because it's all about moving energy. That's what prayer is, moving energy. We want to remember that our energy is moving always, and we are the director of our energy. Never forget that. So even though those things happen in life that may throw us off, energy's moving. Energy's moving, so use it. Use it in a way that works for you, that's productive, to get you back into that centered space of knowing who you are. And I think my next slide is my quote, which is this. Don't become what you see. Know who you are and bring your divine vision into the world as unwavering love and joy. And I think it's really important to remember this, and this is like what my dad was saying, because he knew the ability of the world to drain out our energy. And he said, reverse that, basically. He said, you be the energy and you throw it out there. And look at the goodness, look at the expansiveness we can bring into this world by directing that love and that peace and that joy out into this amazing world, because we are the catalyst for change. And I want to remind you of that. And there's nothing too small that you can do just by realizing and recognizing the power of your energy. Just recognizing that is doing major good for our world. And my next slide is this, look up. Again, I had Emma Curtis Hopkins on my mind to this whole preparation of my talk. Look up. She talks a lot about looking up because we're so used to looking down and being earthbound and just seeing what's here, the relative world. But when we look up, and we see that universal playground, and we see the expansive nature of who we are, when we look up, we are opening ourselves up to the flow of healing and love and joy. And so if you ever feel like you are just stuck in it all, I tell you, look up and you'll feel a change. I read somewhere that just looking up does something to us, like psychologically. And that's easy to do. Look up. Done, right? So I remind you to look up instead of looking here if this is disturbing you. And my next slide is this. So Greg Braden has this wonderful, wonderful prayer, and I really wanted to give you some tools to navigate our world right now. And those of you who took the class that Dr. James and I taught, just the class before this one, it was about prayer, healing. And Greg Braden, simple the prayer. He says, bless the victims if there's some sort of thing, like we've seen some tragedies. I'm not going to deny it. We've seen some major tragedies going on in our world, especially our country. So we bless the victims, right? And then we bless. It totally clears us out and clears our heart and frees ourselves to be who we are and to be good, to feel good, as the song said. This world that's disturbing you, it just kind of pulls that love and that blessing energy into everything, especially you. And my next slide is this. This is a wonderful quote I just found somewhere. Reclaim your curiosity, your sense of adventure, and have some fun. Don't take every moment of your life so seriously. Allow yourself to enjoy life. And I can speak for myself, at least, that there have been points in my life where I've taken life so darn seriously, and I've gotten all wrapped up in it, and I've thought, this thing has to be this way, and I've got to make it happen, and I can't have any distractions of fun right now, and that is like the worst thing to do, and I've realized that now. It is so important to have fun in every aspect of our lives. And I love that Baal Shem Tov taught the Jewish people this. He told people to celebrate life, every moment of it. Don't get stuck in this relative world. You are God. Well, he may not have said it that way, but I will translate for him. You are God, so celebrate that and see the sacred in it all. And so if you feel like you're taking life a little too seriously, because I know a lot of us are, we're getting into that place where it's like, oh my God, I've got to do something. Our world's going to heck in a handbasket. That's just consciousness not looking in the right place. We look at the expansive nature. We look up and we see what's possible. The possible that we'd like to see might not be showing up right now, but I'm not going to get down about that because I know it can. And so to keep that energy free-flowing, fun, exciting, right? Light, lifted up. That is where to keep our consciousness as we walk through our life. And my last slide is this. I've got to end on an Ernest Holmes note because this is such a beautiful quote. He says this, let us dare to plunge into this invisible stream of life, to bathe in its waters. Let us resolve to put aside the cares and worries that have fretted us. Let us seek solace, the comfort and the peace of communion with the I'm trying to teach you guys today, and that is that it is all God. And to be able to see that, and to stop defining our lives, and to stop trying to ascertain this through the human relative way of looking at stuff. I don't want you to figure it out. This isn't a brain assignment. This is a heart assignment. Feel your way into feeling what God is. Because we are all God, and if we're not seeing that and experience that, we've got some work to do because we're living in a place of duality. So I invite you to bathe in the waters. I just love that. I invite you to bathe in the waters in this stream of life that we are. And if you don't know what that means, just ask. Just sit in the silence and ask, what does it mean to bathe in the waters of spirit? Because I will tell you, I have learned how to do that because I didn't come into the center knowing what that meant. But my heart had a little understanding, and so I just went with that because I wanted to know what it is to feel one as God. Because to me, that's the antidote to the troubles of life. That's the solution to be able to live this life in the highest way possible with the greatest peace of mind. Just to remember always that the universe is our playground. So let's have fun. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.